Some of my earliest memories of air travel are on board Britannia Airways, taking my summer holidays to places like Spain and Portugal as a child. But over the last couple of decades, the package holiday has taken a bit of a downturn due to the advent of internet bookings and of course low fares airlines. Thankfully, the last couple of years have seen a growth in this area again, and more people are starting to return to the package deal. But which of the major UK tour operators offers the best in-flight experience? Let's try and find out. Welcome to Blake Edgington Airborne. Now, regular viewers of my channel will know that I have done a comparison video once before on low fares airlines, a link to which is just here. And this video will follow a very similar format. I have a number of categories to look into, and I'll award points from 3 to 1 in each category. Now, I am only going to be looking at the airline itself, not things like hotel accommodation or airport transfers. And this video is solely based on my experiences with each of the airlines. You may have had a different experience, and please do let me know in the comments. Without further delay, let's get to the first category. Probably the most important part of booking a holiday is deciding where to go, so we'll start by looking at the flights offered by each airline. Jet2 operate from 9 UK airports to 62 destinations. Their key focus is on European routes, and they also offer flights to New York. Jet2 have the largest fleet in this comparison, operating 86 Boeing 737 and 757 aircraft. Thomas Cook's fleet of 36 aircraft include the Airbus A321, Boeing 757 and Airbus A330, and they currently fly from 10 UK airports to 72 destinations. As with Jet2, the key focus is on European flights, although Thomas Cook do have a larger choice of long-haul routes to destinations including the USA, India and Africa. As the world's largest charter airline, it's little surprise that TUI have the largest route network. TUI have 17 UK bases and fly to 96 destinations in Europe, Africa, Asia and the Americas. Their flights are operated using the youngest fleet in this comparison of 62 Boeing 737, 757, 767 and 787 Dreamliner aircraft. So it's time to award the first points of this comparison based on route network, and in third place is Jet2. They serve the lowest number of UK airports and have the smallest selection of destinations of the 3 airlines. That being said, Jet2 do offer more frequency on some routes, which is aided by the largest fleet of this comparison. Second place goes to Thomas Cook, who just edge ahead of Jet2 on destinations served, and of course the clear winner in this category is TUI, who offer the most choice of UK airports to fly from, as well as the most destinations around the world. For this category, let's look at a flight-only return trip in peak summer season from my local airport Birmingham to the ever-popular Palma Mallorca. The cheapest return trip available with Jet2 leaves the UK just before 6 in the evening and arrives back in Birmingham a week later at 11:50 PM. This flight is priced at £268 with no additional extras. Thomas Cook have one option for my chosen date between Birmingham and Palma. This flight leaves the UK at 5:20 in the morning, returning 1 week later, just before lunch. Total price, flight only, £235.98. And finally, the cheapest flight of TUI comes in at £359 per person, leaving like Thomas Cook early in the morning and arriving back in Birmingham at 12:50 PM. So none of the airlines in that category were particularly cheap, but by far the most expensive trip was with TUI, who were £91 more expensive than the next best flight. In second comes Jet2, scoring 2 points with their fare of £268, and the best value flight and top score goes to Thomas Cook, who offer a return trip for £235.98. To guarantee that you are seated with your travelling companions, you can pay to select your preferred seats online. Jet2 allow you to pay for a seat when booking and choose from either a standard seat at £10 or purchase an extra legroom seat for £18. When flying with Thomas Cook, you can choose a seat for as little as £7, although seats near the front of the aircraft are slightly more expensive, and an extra legroom seat will set you back £20 per flight. To choose your preferred seat with TUI will cost you £18 for a round trip or £9 per flight. Extra legroom is £22.50 each way. The main issue with TUI, however, is that you can't actually see a seat plan until after you've booked and paid, unlike the other airlines here. The points award for this category is a little tricky, but in third place is TUI. Although not the most expensive price for a standard seat, being unable to see what is available until after you've booked your flight is a big issue in my opinion. Second place in seat selection goes to Jet2, and top marks go to Thomas Cook, who offer the lowest price to choose a standard economy seat before booking. Now we're about halfway through, so let's take a moment to stop and look at the current standings. In joint second place we have Jet2 and TUI, each on 5 points, and just ahead of them on 8 points is of course Thomas Cook. Now I'm pretty surprised at this stage. I thought, particularly in the pricing category, that Thomas Cook would not be the strongest. There's plenty of points still to play for, however, so let's get to the next category. For a week away you will of course need to take luggage, so let's see which airline offers the best value in this category. Jet2 offer 22 kilos of luggage for a price of £28 each way or £56 for a return trip. You can also take a bag up to 10 kilos into the cabin and an additional item such as a laptop or handbag. Jet2 also offer a 20% discount when booking seats, luggage and in-flight meals together. When flying with Thomas Cook, the cheapest luggage price is £23 each way or £46 for a return trip with a 20 kilo allowance. Thomas Cook allow a bag up to 6 kilos in the cabin, and like Jet2 you can also take a small second item on board. You can also book a bundle offering luggage, seat selection and in-flight meal for £60 return. And finally TUI, who on this flight offer 20 kilos of luggage for £22 each way, £44 in total. Your cabin baggage allowance is 5 kilos, and any additional items carried such as a laptop or handbag must fit into your one piece of allowed carry-on, unlike the other airlines. There was also no option to package seats, luggage and meals together with TUI. So to the scores. Third place in luggage policy goes to TUI. Although close in price to Thomas Cook for hold luggage, TUI have the smallest cabin luggage allowance and do not offer package discounts, unlike the other two airlines. Choosing between Jet2 and Thomas Cook for top spot was tough. After much deliberation, I awarded second place to Jet2. While they have the largest luggage allowance, the price is higher than Thomas Cook, and there's also an extra charge to guarantee that you can keep your cabin baggage with you. Therefore, Thomas Cook just shade first place for value in this category, helped in part by the best package that includes seats, luggage and meals. As with the majority of airlines nowadays, all three carriers in our comparison offer food and drink to buy on board. Let's look at which airline has the best offering. Jet2, as with all airlines here, offer a good range of food and drink to buy on the aircraft. In particular, I was impressed with the hot food selection, and don't forget you can also pre-order full meals before your flight. Thomas Cook's Cafe Cloud range was very good value for money overall. A can of Pepsi cost 50p less than on board Jet2. You can also pre-order food for your flight, although the snack selection in my view offered slightly less choice than the competition. Now while you can't pre-order food for a short flight to Palma with TUI, the offering from the onboard cafe menu was very impressive. There's a good choice of food and drink, and for me, the best overall range. What does that all mean to the scores? Well, Thomas Cook come in third place for food and drink. While good value overall, the range of food for me didn't quite match the competition. Jet2 takes second place, mainly down to the slightly higher prices on a couple of items compared with TUI, who of course come in first with what I found to be the best overall combination of choice and value for money when buying on board. This is the most subjective of all categories in this competition, but here are my opinions of the cabin and comfort on board all three holiday airlines. Now bear in mind that this was the newest aircraft I experienced, but I was very surprised by how much I liked the Jet2 cabin. I expected the amount of red to be quite oppressive, but what I found was that there was a very modern feel with a great use of mood lighting. The seat does have some issues with storage, but it offered great comfort and pretty generous legroom. With the only Airbus in the competition, Thomas Cook couldn't quite offer anything to match the Jet2 Boeing Sky interior. I did, however, like how airy the cabin felt, and the entertainment screens were a huge plus. While I didn't mind the seat design itself, the legroom was poor and quite uncomfortable for me. Like Jet2, TUI also made use of mood lighting on board my flight, which really does make a difference to the onboard experience. The seat itself was comfortable, although it did not offer much usable storage, and the legroom for someone 6 foot tall was not great at all. Now, you may have guessed how this category will go already. It was pretty tough to split two of the airlines, but in third place is TUI. The lack of storage and cramped seats is certainly a negative when on board the 737. Second place, therefore, is awarded to Thomas Cook. Again, the legroom was an issue for me personally, but there was a usable seat pocket and the entertainment on my flight was a huge plus. Which of course gives first place to Jet2. Yes, it was the newest aircraft of all three, and having no seatback pocket is an issue, but the legroom was very good and the cabin design overall was my favourite. And that's it. That is the last of the categories that I'll be scoring on this comparison. Before I get to the final scores, I need to be a little bit honest. At the start of this video, and generally, I have a bit of a preference for TUI. I've got some great memories with them and haven't ever had a particularly bad experience. But when you look at them objectively, they may not be the best. You may already have worked it out for yourself, but let's go through the final scores now. In third place, the lowest ranked airline in this comparison is, sadly for me, TUI with 10 points. In second place, Jet2 with 12 points. And of course, the winners overall, quite surprisingly for me, is Thomas Cook with 14 points. Now, as I said, I'm a big fan of TUI. I've had some great flights of all three airlines, and this comparison itself was just looking at certain categories that you may not ordinarily think of when factoring in your next booking. But overall, it doesn't really matter. Everybody does have their preference, and it's all down to the experience that you're provided with when you travel with the airline. I hope you've enjoyed this video today. It's been a lot of fun making it, and I do look forward to sharing more with you perhaps in the future. Coming up, of course, there are plenty of flight reviews to look forward to, so do hit that subscribe button below for those. And most of all, take care.